Follow for more, but this is not your talking minute. More like your talking New York 5 minutes. I want to summarize how just today, the Empire State, Trump's former home, has been so unkind to the 45th president. And he is in a world of hurt in New York, the very place he once boasted he could stand in the middle of and shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and no one would care. Well, not today. So starting with an event you've heard quite a lot about, but in criminal court in New York, state court by the district attorney, the Trump organization took it on the chin with 17, count them, 17 convictions for fraud. The jury deliberated only 10 hours before returning that verdict. That's going to amount to a pretty big fine for the organization, but the real consequences are collateral. First, it really plays into the civil investigation, which is worth more like $250 million by the New York AG, Tish James, of the Trump organization. And that, besides being a lot of money, may well result in Trump and his children losing control of the organization. And it's also going to play in to the New York DA Bragg, again, possible criminal investigation of Trump. You may remember back when Bragg first came into office, there was a pending criminal investigation with two real pros brought in from the outside, Mark Pomerantz and Carrie Dunn, that had to do with false and fraudulent valuation of money in the whole Stormy Daniels hush money cover-up with Michael Cohen. For reasons that weren't totally clear but were very controversial at the time, Bragg decided to take a pass. And at that point, Dunn and Pomerantz took a hike. But now, lo and behold, he's brought in new kind of high-powered talent from the federal system, and he is ginning up this investigation again. What else in New York? Well, the tax fraud convictions to both Weisselberg and the organization might mean that the Southern District of New York, the bulldog of the whole federal criminal justice system, might be on the heels or other parts of the back parts of the Trump organization and Trump and potentially Alan Weisselberg for tax violations. And let's bring back Alan Weisselberg. He was stoic and wouldn't cooperate against Trump and agreed to plead to crimes that brought him several months in prison. What about now? If there's tax consequences or anything else, can he really stay the course, especially after the whole trial strategy in the Trump organization was to pin it on Weisselberg, call him the criminal mastermind who hoodwinked Donald Trump? And now Weisselberg maybe forgives that, knows that's what you have to do in trials, but maybe not, because it's quite a lot of chutzpah to reward the man who has been the most sort of loyal, quiet, and not spilling of the beans. And this goes back all the way to Trump's dad, Fred Trump. So that's another way in which New York is really giving it to Trump. And all of these, of course, maybe the biggest is reputationally. The Trump organization and its headquarters in New York is now really, at best, a fraction of its former value, and it's just going in the tank more and more. One more point, the possible criminal case by the New York DA Bragg. Looks like that's been a while since Stormy Daniels happened, but guess what? New York law says that if Trump wasn't living under the roof in New York, it doesn't count against the statute of limitations. So Trump basically went into exile, thumbed his nose at New York, went to Florida, and as a result, he now is on the hook for a timely prosecution in, again, New York itself. So New York, his former home, has been no good, bad, terrible, etc. to Trump now, and I think, in fact, he would no longer want to be sauntering down Fifth Avenue to see what might happen. On the contrary, the next few months, I think, will only bring him more trouble in his own former hometown. There you have it. You can get Talking Feds, by the way, wherever you find your podcast, but that's a day in the life of Donald Trump in New York City. Thanks for tuning in. If you like the video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.